Hey everyone, this is Michael again, and welcome to the Monday Night Raw review. Monday Night Raw tonight was from the SAP Center in San Jose, California, and the show just ended, and this was the go-home show for FastLane, which is this Saturday, and Monday Night Raw tonight, what a terrible show this was. Awful show. We had two returns tonight. We had Rhea Ripley returning after, selling her injury from being taken out by Nia Jax. And we also had the return of Johnny Gargano. Yes, Johnny Gargano finally returned tonight. After how many months he's been out? I've lost count. But tonight on Monday Night Raw, we had Imperium versus the Alpha Academy. We had Bronson Reed versus Cedric Alexandra. We had Xavier Woods versus Ivar. Tegan Knox took on Chelsea Green. We had the contract signing between Gunther and Tommaso Ciampa for the Intercontinental Championship, which was originally supposed to take place, but it ended up being the main event of Monday Night Raw tonight. It was supposed to take place next week on Monday Night Raw, but they decided to do it tonight. So we had Drew McIntyre versus The Miz, and of course, the main event, the Intercontinental Championship on the line. Gunther defending the title against Tommaso Ciampa. But overall, terrible Raw this was. Awful show. But before I get into the review, if you guys haven't checked out my previous video that I uploaded earlier today, did a DVD, Blu-ray, and 4K update. If you guys haven't seen it yet, definitely go check it out. A lot of titles that I showed there. So check out my update if you guys haven't seen it yet. But, still recovering from COVID. I had COVID last week. If you guys haven't checked out my DVD, Blu-ray, 4K update from today, I stated that, I had COVID last week, just had a stuffy nose and a cough here and there, and I'm feeling better. I retested myself today again, still coming up positive, but I have no symptoms. My symptoms have gone away, so, going back to work tomorrow. So, but in the next days, I'll be, if I retest myself, I'll be negative. So, but yeah, that's what, happened last week. So I did my 5-day quarantine. But anyways, let's jump right into the review. Monday Night Raw open up tonight with Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. Now, they were supposed to have a match tonight, which thankfully that did not take place. But they were shown brawling on the ramp. Nia Jax ended up throwing Shayna Baszler down the ramp, and she ended up throwing Baszler into the LED apron. Nia Jax rolled Shayna Baszler into the ring. Jax made her way inside. Baszler started kicking away at Nia Jax, and Baszler jumped on Jax's back for a Kirifuda clutch. But Nia Jax ended up backing Baszler into the corner and smashed her into the turnbuckles. And then Raquel Rodriguez, Smiley Raquel, made her way out. She ended up returning to Monday Night Raw tonight since being taken out by Nia Jax a few weeks back. Forgot to mention, that also Raquel Rodriguez returned. So Raquel Rodriguez ran down to the ring. She attacked Nia Jax. Raquel then ended up going for a big boot to Nia Jax. Nia Jax sidestepped, which caused Rodriguez to hit Shayna Baszler with the big boot. And then Rhea Ripley ended up returning. She ended up coming out, the Women's World Champion, and she ended up coming out to a big reaction from the crowd there in San Jose. We haven't seen Rhea Ripley in weeks, after she was taken out by Nia Jax as well. So Rhea Ripley ended up attacking Nia Jax, and Raquel Rodriguez and Shayna Baszler end up getting involved. We had officials and security end up running into the ring to break up the brawl between these women. Rhea Ripley ended up kicking two of the security guards down, and she ended up hitting a third security guard and laid him out with a riptide. And the crowd ended up chanting "Mommy." So Rhea Ripley got on the mic. She ended up saying that Mommy is back on Monday Night Raw. So she ended up saying that she is not going anywhere because she needs to talk with the Judgment Day right now. So she ended up calling them out. So out came Damian Priest and Dominic Mysterio. Finn Balor was not on the show tonight. And of course, Dominic lost the NXT North American Championship at NXT No Mercy on Saturday night to Trick Williams. Trick Williams is now the new NXT North American Champion. So Dominic looked upset as he made his way out. And then Monday Night Raw went to commercial. Overall, this was just a clusterfuck of opening to Monday Night Raw here. And I'm like, okay, nothing really happened. Okay, we got Raquel Rodriguez back. We got Rhea Ripley back. End up going after Nia Jax. Who cares? Who cares? So then, as Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, we saw Rhea Ripley. She was on the mic, and she ended up putting over Damian Priest and Dominic Mysterio. So she was talking during the commercial break. So Rhea Ripley ended up saying that now that she's gotten that off her chest, she has some Judgment Day business to attend to. She ended up saying there is no leader in the Judgment Day, but they each have their own responsibilities to handle. And to me, Rhea Ripley, in my opinion, is the leader of the Judgment Day, not Finn Balor. Like when Edge was booed out of the Judgment Day, to me, Rhea Ripley became the leader of it. So yeah, Rhea Ripley, to me, you are the leader of the Judgment Day. So Rhea Ripley ended up saying that someone has to come up with a game plan so things don't go down on them. So she ended up saying that she got taken out for 2 weeks by Nia Jax, and things start falling apart for the Judgment Day. Rhea ended up saying that she is the one who makes the plans. And at the end of the day, with her being out, she left that responsibility with somebody, and they disappointed her. She ended up saying that she left that responsibility with Damian Priest, and he couldn't handle the job. She ended up saying after the brawl last week, Balor is out injured. So there you go, Finn Balor is injured. She ended up saying that Damian Priest isn't even cleared to compete tonight against Jay. She ended up saying what else happens? Dom loses his NXT North American Championship to Trick Williams at No Mercy because Damian Priest wasn't there to help him like she told him to. And she ended up saying now we have the Cody and Jay situation. She ended up saying that they don't fear them because there's tension in the group and they're not a threat to them. She ended up saying they're going to try to take their championships away from them. And what will Priest do? She ended up saying that Priest won't do anything about it. So Priest did not look happy at all here. So Damian Priest got on the mic. He ended up saying, with all due respect, Rhea, you're not saying anything I don't already know. He ended up saying, yes, Cody and Jay are coming for the titles. But when push comes to shove, he will push harder. Priest ended up saying, with that being said, screw Cody Rhodes and screw main event Jey Uso. And screw the talks of the Judgment Day falling apart. Priest ended up saying the way he sees it, he has his titles and his contract. He ended up saying that he's not trying to point fingers and start something. But Priest ended up saying, but mommy, where's Dom Dom's title? So Rhea ended up turning and looking at Dominic. Dominic had his head down. He was ashamed because of losing the NXT North American Championship. And the crowd here was chanting to Dominic, "Where's your title? Where's your title?" And Rhea ended up saying she is his mommy, which makes him her poppy. So Rhea ended up telling Dominic that tomorrow night on NXT, Dom has a rematch against Trick Williams for the NXT North American Championship. And she ended up saying to Dominic, if Dominic doesn't come home to her with the NXT North American Championship, then he cannot bother to come home at all. So maybe, is this a prediction that Dominic might be out of the Judgment Day if he doesn't win the NXT North American Championship again in his rematch against Trick Williams? Who knows? So Jey Uso made his way out. Got a big ovation from the crowd. He came out, of course, with that awful theme music. "Oh, it's just me down since day one. It's just me." Awful. Absolutely awful theme. So Jey ended up staring at the Judgment Day. He didn't say anything for a little bit. So Jey ended up welcoming back Rhea Ripley. So Jey ended up looking Rhea in her eyes, and he ended up saying that everyone missed Rhea. He ended up saying that it's looking like there's a new tribal chief on Monday night, and that she has bigger balls than Roman Reigns ever did. So Jey ended up calling Rhea Ripley the new tribal chief on Monday night. So Priest angrily leaned against the ropes. He ended up saying that he's tired of hearing Jey open his mouth. Priest then approached Jey, but Dom ended up holding Priest back. And then Dominic ended up holding up the mic to speak. And of course, we had this. Yeah, we had that. And so we had Dominic was being booed, and Dominic ended up saying this on the mic. "I got this. I lost the NXT North American Championship." Yeah. We could not hear Dominic say anything because of this. Piped in boos, of course. So Dominic ended up saying that Priest isn't medically cleared, but he is. So Dominic ended up saying that he wants to take care of Jey. Jey then chuckled, and Rhea Ripley looked all concerned. Priest ended up saying that Dominic can handle it. So Jey and Dominic were left in the ring. Dominic ended up going for a right hand to Jey, but Jey sidestepped Dom, and Jey delivered a super kick. And so all of a sudden, Jaden McDonough jumped into the ring and attacked Jey from behind. Jey fought McDonough off, but Dominic took him down. McDonough held Jey up, and Dominic started hitting some right hands to Jey. And then Cody Rhodes ended up coming out to make the save. Of course, rinse and repeat, same old shit. Jey then super kicked McDonough out of the ring. Jey connected with a super kick on Dominic, and Cody immediately followed up with the crossroads on Dominic. And so Priest stood on the apron, and he didn't even help Dominic. So then Adam Pearce came out. Adam Pearce got on the mic. He ended up saying that the Judgment Day has caused enough chaos tonight, and that they'll handle the chaos this Saturday at FastLane, where Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso will take on Finn Balor and Damian Priest. He ended up saying, to understand the stakes, the match will be for the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship. So it was made official by Adam Pearce. Priest looked stunned at that news from Adam Pearce. And pretty much that was basically that. That was how the segment ended. But, typical rinse and repeat. Oh, we got the Judgment Day out there. Jey Uso comes out. And we have the Judgment Day beat down on Jey. Cody Rhodes comes out to make the save. Rinse and repeat. And so again, this match at FastLane. Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso versus Balor and Damian Priest. Undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship on the line. That's that. And then they go into, Jade Cargill being signed with WWE. And they showcased all the press that they received of this Jade Cargill sign-in. And, Jade Cargill, has been training in the Performance Center. And hopefully she goes to NXT there, spends a year there. I don't want WWE to bring Jade Cargill up to the main roster just like that. Have her train, have her, be good, in the ring. Have her go to NXT, have her stay there for a little bit, like I said, for a year. And then when she is good enough to be ready to go to the main roster, have her go to either Monday Night Raw or SmackDown. So that's my take on what WWE should do with Jade Cargill. And then we had the first match of the night. The Alpha Academy, Chad Gable and Otis versus Imperium, Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci. Rinse and repeat, this is. We've seen these guys go at it before, but still, it was a decent match. So, of course, we had Maxine Dupree accompanying the Alpha Academy out there. And the match started off with Chad Gable and Kaiser. Both guys end up blocking up. Kaiser backed Gable into the corner. Gable ended up ducking a right hand and connected with an arm drag to Kaiser. Gable then applied a set headlock on Kaiser. Kaiser fought up. He ended up hooking Gable's head. Gable whipped Kaiser off, but Kaiser delivered a shoulder tackle to Gable. Kaiser then ended up grabbing Gable's arm and applying an arm bar. Gable twisted out of that, and he quickly took Kaiser down with a drop toe hold. Kaiser ended up quickly fighting up, ended up taking Gable down, and he ended up kicking Gable in his chest. Kaiser then tagged in Giovanni Vinci. Vinci ended up taking it to Gable. He ended up applying a side headlock on Gable. Gable whipped Vinci off, ended up hitting a head scissor takeover. Gable ended up going for a German suplex, but Vinci fought out of it. Gable ended up quickly taking Vinci down and applied an ankle lock. Vinci ended up twisting out of the ankle lock and sent Gable into Kaiser. Gable ended up flipping through a back suplex from Vinci, and Gable ended up hitting an exploder to Vinci. Gable then headed up to the top rope, but Kaiser pulled Vinci out of the ring and started yelling at Vinci. Otis then ended up sending Gable over the top rope onto Vinci. So Otis took out Vinci on the outside. So Kaiser ended up avoiding that. He just moved to the side, and Vinci got taken down by Otis. And then as Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, Gable ended up chopping Kaiser's chest. Kaiser quickly responded with a running uppercut to knock Gable out of the ring. Kaiser then distracted the ref as Vinci hit Gable with a back suplex on the apron. Kaiser then drop kicked Gable off the apron. Kaiser ended up getting Gable into the ring, started punching Gable down, and then Kaiser tagged Vinci in. So Vinci took it to Gable. Gable ended up catching Vinci with a backslide pin, and then Vinci kicked out. So Vinci ended up blocking a kick from Gable, and Vinci ended up hitting a vicious lariat to Gable. Kaiser ended up taking himself in, and Kaiser ended up dropping Gable with a right hand, and Kaiser ended up going for the cover. Gable ended up kicking out. So later on, Otis ended up tagging in. Kaiser was furious to find that Vinci was not on the apron, and Otis ended up taking it to Kaiser and clotheslined Kaiser down. Vinci then ran into the ring, but Otis ended up elbowing Vinci down. Otis sent Kaiser flying with an exploder, and then Otis avalanched Kaiser in the corner. Vinci ran in and springboard off the ropes. Otis caught Vinci, and he ended up delivering the World's Strongest Slam to Vinci. Otis then followed up with a caterpillar to Kaiser. Otis then put Kaiser on the top turnbuckle. He was sent up for a slam, but Vinci grabbed Otis' leg, and Otis fell backwards off the ropes. Gable took out Vinci with a cannonball off the apron. Kaiser then ended up hitting Otis with a running enziguri. So Kaiser ended up going for the cover, and there you go. Imperium ended up winning the match. So pretty much that was that. But overall, decent match it was, but we've seen these guys go at it before. It's just rinse and repeat. And then we saw highlights shown of the Extreme Rules match at NXT No Mercy between Becky Lynch and Tiffany Stratton for the NXT Women's Championship, which was a very good match. Tiffany Stratton was just awesome in the match there against Becky Lynch, and it was the main event to the show. Becky Lynch ended up retaining the title, and they ended up showing a nasty cut on Becky Lynch's arm, which looked really cringe. I cringed at how the way Becky's arm looked. It's like, ugh. And that cut required 11 stitches to close. So can't imagine that. And then we went to Adam Pearce. Adam Pearce was backstage with Tegan Nox. Pearce ended up saying to Tegan Nox that Becky cannot defend the NXT Women's Championship against her tonight because of Becky's injury. And then Chelsea Green ended up walking in. Chelsea Green walks in wearing these pink heart glasses, and Chelsea Green is just making fun of Tegan Nox. Tegan Nox ended up saying that she'd like a match against Chelsea Green to figure out who is championship material. So Adam Pearce made the match official. So there you go. We had Tegan Nox versus Chelsea Green later on in the night. And then we had Bronson Reed versus Cedric Alexander. This was a squash match here. Bronson Reed ended up delivering the tsunami to Cedric Alexander. And there you go. Bronson Reed ended up winning the match. There's nothing for me to explain about the match here. It was a squash. Moving on. We saw replays being shown of when Ivar attacked Xavier Woods last week on Monday Night Raw. And Drew McIntyre used the distraction to beat Kofi Kingston. McIntyre then was shown walking off on the New Day as New Day were taken out by Ivar. So we saw the recap of that. And then we went back to Adam Pearce. Adam Pearce was shown on his phone. Drew McIntyre walked up to Pearce. McIntyre ended up telling Pearce that he doesn't want to be on Miz TV. I don't blame McIntyre. Who wants to be on Miz TV? Miz TV is absolutely boring. So McIntyre ended up saying that he did it last week because he thought the fans deserved it, but not this week. Pearce ended up saying to McIntyre that Miz requested that McIntyre be on the show and will give him open forum. So McIntyre ended up agreeing. Pearce ended up asking if McIntyre is good. McIntyre ended up saying that he didn't do the right thing because no one did the right thing for him when the bloodline was beating him down. So pretty much that was that. That was what McIntyre had to say. I don't blame McIntyre for not wanting to be on Miz TV. And then we had the contract signing between Gunther and Tommaso Ciampa for the Intercontinental Championship. Adam Pearce was in the ring to make this contract sign official. So Tommaso Ciampa was out there. Ciampa ended up coming into the ring. He posed on the turnbuckles. And we had, of course, Gunther in there. Gunther wearing, a nice suit. Of course, Gunther is the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion. He made his way to the ring, had a smug look on his face. So Gunther sat down at the table. Ciampa standing at the other side. Ciampa took the contract. He ended up going to sign the contract, and then he ended up stopping himself. Ciampa ended up saying what he's setting out to do to Gunther is beyond his imagination. He ended up saying when this match happens, things will be different. He ended up saying ever since Gunther has come to WWE, he's been served 5-course meals. He ended up saying that doesn't happen for guys like him. And they're served roadkill and told to make it into filet. He ended up saying when it does it enough times, he gets a chance. Ciampa ended up telling Gunther to look at him. He ended up saying next week, when he comes down the ramp to fight for the Intercontinental Championship, the title he's wanted since he was 5, he'll be doing it with his family at ringside. Ciampa ended up saying that he won't be fighting for his family, though. He'll be fighting for the little boy that wanted that Intercontinental Championship. So Ciampa then signed the contract. He slammed the pen down. Gunther, who has been unfazed throughout what Ciampa was saying, he smirked. He picked up the mic. Gunther ended up saying that this is a contract signing for the most important championship in the sport today. And he ended up saying Ciampa showed up like a slob because, Gunther was in a suit. And we had Gunther ended up saying that Ciampa talks about fighting for himself and his family. And that's noble. Gunther ended up saying that he fights for what's near and dear to him, the Intercontinental Championship. And I really like how Gunther is bringing still prestige to the Intercontinental Championship when he is the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion. So, I like that. Gunther ended up saying that he is the greatest and longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of all time. So Ciampa ended up diversely clapping for him. So Gunther ended up telling Ciampa to have a good look. Ciampa ended up saying that Gunther seems confident for someone about to lose his entire world. So Ciampa told Gunther to sign the contract. Gunther ended up warning Ciampa to not interrupt him. He ended up saying that Ciampa can keep on dreaming because this is the closest that he'll ever get to this great championship. Ciampa then ended up saying that Gunther still hasn't signed the contract. He ended up saying that the people of San Jose want to see history. So he was like, why wait until FastLane or next week on Raw? Ciampa ended up saying that he will make Gunther tap out tonight. So Gunther ended up saying that Ciampa should have to prove himself. And then Gunther signed the contract. Pearce ended up making the Intercontinental Championship match official for tonight. So we didn't have to wait until Fastlane. We didn't have to wait until next week on Raw. We got the match tonight, which was the main event. Gunther then slapped Ciampa. Ciampa jumped over the table and he started punching away at Gunther. Gunther shoved Ciampa over the table. He angrily threw the table out of the ring. So then Ciampa ended up throwing a chair into Gunther's head, and he applied the Sicilian stretch to Gunther. Gunther then quickly escaped the ring, and that was basically that. But overall, I enjoyed this contract signing. Gunther, still, bringing prestige to the Intercontinental Championship, which I really like. Saying that, he is the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion. He's the greatest, longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of all time. But really like the segment here. And then we saw Damian Priest. Damian Priest was in the Judgment Day locker room. He was complaining about Adam Pearce's decisions. Jaden McDonough started talking. Priest ended up telling McDonough to be quiet. Rhea Ripley ended up telling Priest to listen to him because he's onto something. So McDonough then suggested that they try to divide both Cody and Jey Uso. They'll divide and then conquer them. So Priest ended up saying that I'll think about it. So pretty much that was basically that. And then we had Xavier Woods versus Ivar. And this was a okay match here. Kofi Kingston was on commentary for the match. So the match ended up starting. Xavier Woods immediately drop-kicked Ivar. Woods started punching away at Ivar, and Ivar ended up shoving Woods off. Woods ended up booting Ivar back. Ivar ended up reversing the whip into the opposite corner, but Woods slingshotted over Ivar. Woods ended up charging to Ivar. Ivar then ended up hitting a seated senton to Woods, and then he followed up with an exploder suplex to Woods. So Ivar started taunting the crowd. He hit Woods with a running Bronco Buster, and he ended up going for the cover, and Woods ended up kicking out at 2. So Ivar ended up hitting some forearms to Woods' face. Ivar sent Woods to the corner, but Woods ended up booting Ivar back. Ivar then avoided an honor roll from Woods. He ended up going for a back suplex, but Woods ended up getting out of that. Woods tried to lift Ivar up, but Ivar fought out. Woods ended up sliding under Ivar's legs twice, and he super kicked Ivar. Woods then clotheslined Ivar over the top rope, and he ended up going for a baseball slide. Ivar ended up grabbing Woods and sent him into the LED apron. So Ivar started charging at Woods. Woods sidestepped Ivar, and Ivar ended up hitting the apron hard. Woods came off the barricade and delivered a missile dropkick to Ivar. And so Monday Night Raw went to commercial. Then as Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, Ivar was in control of the match. He ended up going for a double arm suplex to Woods, but Woods ended up getting out of that. Woods kicked away at Ivar before lifting Ivar up. So Woods ended up hitting a sit-out Death Valley driver to Ivar, and Woods ended up going for the cover. Ivar kicked out. Woods pulled Ivar up, but Ivar ended up picking Woods up, ended up delivering a scoop slam to Woods. Ivar headed to the middle rope. Woods ended up cutting Ivar off with some clubs to him. Woods ended up going for a powerbomb, but Ivar ended up pulling the ropes, and he fell on top of Ivar. So Ivar ended up going to the top rope for a splash. Woods ended up moving out of the way. Woods rolled Ivar up, and Ivar kicked out. So Ivar ended up quickly kicking Woods. He ended up going for a powerbomb, but Woods countered the powerbomb into a small package. So there you go. Xavier Woods ended up winning the match. Post-match, Ivar wasted no time and attacked Woods from behind. Kofi ended up running into the ring. Kofi ended up attacking Ivar. He ended up coming off the top rope with an elbow to Ivar's head. Ivar ended up quickly taking out Kofi with a spin kick. Ivar then ended up spin kicking Woods down. Ivar then ended up grabbing Kofi, ended up hitting Kofi with a double arm powerbomb onto Woods. So Ivar ended up going up to the top rope, and he delivered a moonsault off the top onto both Kofi and Xavier. So the crowd was shocked at that. So pretty much that was that. Overall, okay match it was between Xavier Woods and Ivar. And then as Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, Michael Cole was in the ring. Michael Cole introduced Seth Rollins, the World Heavyweight Champion. So, of course, Rollins made his way out. Rollins got into the ring. He listened to the crowd sing, whoa. And ended up welcoming San Jose to Monday Night Rollins. Rollins ended up telling the crowd to give it up for the voice of WWE, the one and only Michael Cole. So Michael Cole got a nice reaction from the crowd there in San Jose. Michael Cole wanted to get right to it with Rollins. Michael Cole ended up saying that he has had the pleasure and honor of calling most of the matches for Rollins' career. He ended up saying that he has helped come up with some of the nicknames, like the Visionary and Revolutionary. He ended up saying that at times he called Rollins the Puppeteer. He ended up saying now it seems like Rollins is the puppet. Rollins ended up saying that he gave him a nice introduction, and Michael Cole goes with that. He was like, who is the puppet? Rollins ended up saying that he wanted a rematch from Nakamura for weeks, and he finally got it. So Michael Cole ended up asking Rollins what he's doing. Rollins ended up saying that he has never competed in a last man standing match, and that he's accomplished so much. He ended up saying in this match, anything is legal. Thank you, Rollins. Thank you for letting us know how a last man standing match is. Yes, everything is legal. He ended up saying you just have to beat your opponent down so badly they can't get up by the count of 10. Thank you, Rollins, again for explaining how a last man standing match works. We all know it. And they write this for Rollins thinking that we're stupid of not knowing how a last man standing match goes. So, you end up saying that it's been documented that his back is hanging by a thread. So, you end up saying that why is he doing this? And he could lose his livelihood. Rollins took his sunglasses off. He ended up saying that he doesn't know how to put it into words. Rollins ended up asking Michael Cole how long he's been sitting at the commentary desk. Michael Cole ended up saying that he's been here for 26 years and missed only 2 shows. Gotta give it to Michael Cole. Here for 26 years and only missed 2 shows. Michael Cole works hard to be there and put his commentary in for every show. So Rollins put over Cole's longevity, and he ended up saying that Cole has to get it, and that Cole is addicted to it. It's a compulsion. He ended up saying that Cole needs it and loves it. And Rollins ended up saying that he needs and loves it. Rollins ended up saying that he has an honor, a responsibility, and a duty. He ended up saying this ring has given him everything. It's put a roof over his head, food on his table, how he met his wife, Becky Lynch, and the reason that he has a beautiful baby girl. He ended up saying when you're a World Heavyweight Champion, all that responsibility gets amplified because you have to be a bigger example. You have to be the change. He ended up saying that if that responsibility takes him to FastLane and it is his last ride with his back given out and he can't do anymore, it won't matter that much. Rollins ended up saying what matters is he left it all in the ring and that he would have fulfilled his responsibility. He ended up saying that he'll be an honorable man, an example for his daughter. He ended up saying that if Cole wants a reason, that's the best he's got. He ended up saying that it's not words, it's just a feeling. He ended up saying that it feels right. So then Shinsuke Nakamura appeared on the Titantron. He was speaking in Japanese, of course. He ended up saying that he's tired of Rollins' nonsense and that no one believes Rollins. He ended up saying is the back injury a lie to get sympathy? So he ended up saying that Rollins says nothing will keep him down. And does he want the world to feel sorry for him? Nakamura then appeared in the ring and attacked Rollins from behind. Nakamura took out Rollins with the Kinshasa to the back of Rollins' neck. So Nakamura's recorded video began counted. Rollins got up at 7. The video of Nakamura stopped on the Titantron. Nakamura ended up attacking Rollins with a chair. And Nakamura ended up targeting Rollins' back with some chair shots. So Nakamura set up the chair. He sat down. And the recorded Nakamura on the Titantron started counting again. Rollins got up at 9. Nakamura ended up kicking Rollins and delivered a low blow. Nakamura then delivered a backbreaker to Rollins through the chair. And Rollins ended up landing on his back. Nakamura is just focusing on Rollins' back here. So Nakamura ended up finishing off Rollins with the Kinshasa. Nakamura picked up the mic. He began counting. Nakamura ended up counting to 10. Rollins did not get up. Nakamura then held up the World Heavyweight Championship, and that was that. But Nakamura versus Rollins, I mean, not looking forward to it. We all know what happened when Nakamura went into his last man standing match with AJ Styles. He lost it. Nakamura lost it. And probably that will happen at FastLane on Saturday. As we all know what happened with Nakamura in his last man standing match with Styles. And then we saw Tegan Nox. Tegan Nox was warming up. Becky Lynch came up to Tegan Nox. Becky Lynch's arm was in a sling. Becky ended up saying that she should be ready for a fight because they're going to go when she's cleared. So Becky ended up going to leave, and she ended up bumping into Natalya. Natalya ended up walking by her. She ended up going up to Tegan Nox. Natalya ended up telling Tegan Nox that they got off on the wrong foot. She ended up saying that she's proud of Tegan Nox and that she'll get another opportunity for a title match against Becky Lynch. She ended up saying when she gets it, she'll nail it. So Tegan Nox ended up thanking Natalya for the words, and that was that. And then we had Chelsea Green versus Tegan Nox. This was a squash match. Nothing for me to explain here. Tegan Nox delivered the shiniest wizard to Chelsea Green. Tegan Nox ended up winning the match. Post-match, Natalya got into the ring, hugged Tegan Nox. She ended up raising Tegan Nox's arm in the air. And that was that. Moving on. We had Byron Saxton. Byron Saxton walked up to Jey Uso. Jey ended up telling Byron Saxton that he's good with Cody Rhodes and that it's full speed ahead. He ended up saying when he was in the bloodline, Cody was the enemy. And now Cody is no longer the enemy. There you go. That was what Jey had to say. So then Drew McIntyre was in the ring. Drew McIntyre got on the mic. He ended up saying, San Jose, what should we talk about? McIntyre ended up saying that everyone wants an explanation as to why he changed. McIntyre ended up saying that he doesn't have to explain a damn thing to anyone in the locker room, and that the only people he answers to are his fans. He ended up saying that the fans have been with him since he was 22 years old, through the ups and downs. McIntyre ended up saying that he's going to stop interfering in fights he doesn't belong in. He ended up saying that he fights at less than 100% because of it. He ended up saying in the past few weeks since he stopped saving the day, no one has stepped up. So McIntyre ended up saying that they're all hypocrites, except for one person, Cody Rhodes. He ended up saying that Cody is cleaning up his own mess. He ended up saying that Cody does and says what he wants. He ended up saying forgiveness, when it comes to Jey Uso, is weakness, not strength. So then The Miz ended up coming out. The Miz comes out and, in my opinion, ruins the segment here. So The Miz interrupted McIntyre. Miz got on the mic. He ended up saying that he doesn't forgive McIntyre for what he did to him on Miz TV. Miz ended up saying that he doesn't forgive him for canceling this week's edition of Miz TV. Good. Nobody wants to see Miz TV. So Miz ended up saying that he gave McIntyre an open forum to speak from the heart, but McIntyre said nothing. So then McIntyre was like, Miz, shut up, and bugger off. Miz ended up saying that he stood up for him and was looking out for McIntyre. And all McIntyre did was shut him up. So the crowd started chanting, "Shut up, Miz." So Miz told McIntyre to embrace who he really is. McIntyre, once again, was like, "Miz, shut up." So McIntyre ended up saying that Miz wants him to be the bad guy and maybe beat up Seth Rollins and take his World Heavyweight Championship. He was like, maybe screw Jey Uso at FastLane. McIntyre ended up saying that's not how he operates. He ended up saying that he racks up the wins and makes the opportunity. So McIntyre then challenged Miz to a fight unless his balls are too tiny. So Miz was shown wearing a suit. He was wearing a suit to the ring out here. So we had Miz end up saying, "Oh, can you see I'm in a suit? I'm not in my gear. And you're just in a skirt." So Miz ended up calling McIntyre Two-Face. And that McIntyre is not Batman. And he only plays the side that benefits him. So Miz ended up saying that McIntyre is not worth his time. So then McIntyre ended up saying to Miz, "I suggest you shut up." And then, lo and behold, they give this to the Miz to say. Apparently, somebody in creative was watching Stand By Me, the 1986 classic. Will Wheaton, late great River Phoenix, Corey Feldman, Jerry O'Connell. Miz quotes Stand By Me. And he's like, "Oh, I don't shut up, I grow up. And when I look at you, I throw up. Ugh." I'm like, oh my God. Why take a funny scene like that and make it cringe? I swear. River Phoenix, Corey Feldman, Jerry O'Connell made that scene a whole lot better in that film than The Miz did here. God. Cringe how the way Miz said it. So Miz ended up saying that he was taught by his mama that the bigger man walks away from a fight. Miz walked off. Miz then ended up running into the ring, and he hit McIntyre in the back of the head with the mic because McIntyre's back was turned. So McIntyre got into the ring. He was irate. He ended up driving Miz into the corner. Referees ended up running to the ring to separate the both of them. And so Miz escaped out of the ring. And then Monday Night Raw went to commercial. Overall, this was just a awful segment here. It was going good when McIntyre was out there and explained himself, how he was saying, oh, he doesn't have to explain a damn thing to anyone in the locker room, and that the only people he responds to are his fans. And then The Miz comes along and kills the fucking segment, doing a cringe copy of Stand By Me with that scene from the film, making it all fucking cringe. And then, as Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, we had Drew McIntyre versus The Miz. Boring. This was absolutely boring. Miz was still wearing a suit, so he wrestled in his suit. Match up started. Miz got out of the ring. McIntyre chased Miz into the ring and pulled him out. McIntyre picked Miz up. He ended up going back and forth, slamming him into the LED apron and into the barricade. Miz ended up sending McIntyre into the ring post, and he got into the ring. Miz was looking for a count out, but McIntyre got into the ring. Miz ended up booting McIntyre in the head and applied a headlock. And of course, the crowd starts chanting, "Tiny balls." I'm like, we're still on this fucking tiny ball shit. Stop with it. So Miz ended up going for his patented corner clothesline to McIntyre, but McIntyre caught Miz, ended up hitting an overhead belly-to-belly suplex to Miz. McIntyre ended up hitting a second belly-to-belly suplex to Miz, and he ended up hitting a neckbreaker to the Miz. McIntyre kicked up, and he ended up going for a future shot DT, but Miz ended up getting out of that. Miz ended up kneeing McIntyre in the face, ended up hitting a lung blower. So the ref checked on McIntyre. Miz then started to unravel the top turnbuckle pad and take it off. The referee caught Miz, and we had McIntyre end up giving Miz a Glasgow kiss headbutt. And McIntyre went to the corner to start counting down to hit the Claymore to Miz. But McIntyre ended up looking to the corner, and he ended up grabbing Angela, his sword. So the referee took the sword from McIntyre. McIntyre used that distraction to pull the turnbuckle pad off. He ended up bouncing Miz's face off the turnbuckle, off the exposed turnbuckle. And McIntyre then ended up hitting the Future Shock DDT to the Miz. McIntyre ended up going for the cover. And there you go. Drew McIntyre ended up winning the match. Post-match, McIntyre took the mic. He ended up saying that he's done some serious thinking. He ended up saying that he's not the same guy he was 30 seconds ago. And he ended up saying that he's sorry for his actions. So he is automatically forgiven. So McIntyre shook his head and he walked off. And that was that. Overall, boring, awful match this was between McIntyre and The Miz. And then we saw Jackie Redmond. Jackie Redmond was backstage with Trick Williams, the new NXT North American champion. So Trick Williams introduced himself to Jackie Redmond and to the rest of the people watching, which I liked. I liked how the way that we got introduced to Trick Williams here for people who don't watch NXT. So Trick ended up saying that he's got gold on his ear, wrist, and waist. He ended up saying that tomorrow night on NXT he'll defend the NXT North American Championship against Dirty Dom, Dominic Mysterio. So Dominic walked up to Trick Williams, along with Rhea Ripley and JD McDonough. Rhea Ripley ended up saying that Dominic won't be alone tomorrow night, and he will leave with his NXT North American Championship. So that was that. We're getting that match tomorrow night on NXT. And Trick Williams, he's good in the ring. He's very talented. And, of course, he was with Carmelo Hayes. So, but, he's good in the ring, Trick Williams. Check out his matches. And then we had Jackie Redmond. Jackie Redmond was standing on the ramp as Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, and she welcomed Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes made his way down to the stage, got a big ovation from the crowd. Jackie Redmond ended up saying to Cody that this Saturday, Adam Pearce put him in a match with Jey Uso to go for the undisputed WWE Tag Team Champions, the Judgment Day. Cody ended up telling Jackie Redmond that he never planned to team with Jey Uso, but the Judgment Day have caused this. Cody ended up saying that he heard they'll be on SmackDown, so he'll be there with Jey. And he ended up saying that him and Jey will win the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship at FastLane. Then it will be a very different Monday Night Raw. So then, that was that. That was the interview. I'm like, you had to bring Cody out there just to explain that? You couldn't just do this backstage? What a waste of time this was. Absolute waste. And then we had the Alpha Academy backstage. Otis ended up apologizing for losing the match, but Chad Gable ended up saying that Otis doesn't need to apologize, and that Imperium are cheaters. He ended up saying that Gunther has peaked, but he hasn't. He ended up saying when he does, all the savages and idiots will know. So that was that. And then it was announced that the Judgment Day will be on SmackDown Friday. No surprise there. And they also announced that next Monday on Raw, Becky will defend the NXT Women's Championship against Tegan Nox. And Kofi Kingston will battle Ivar in a Viking Rules match. So again, Kofi versus Ivar again. We saw this 2 weeks ago. And only the difference is now this is a Viking Rules match. And then Nia Jax will face Raquel Rodriguez. Smiley Raquel. Yeah, like I'm so thrilled. Like I'm so interested in Nia Jax versus Raquel Rodriguez. But that's all set for Monday Night Raw next week. Main event, Gunther versus Tommaso Ciampa. Intercontinental Championship on the line. Good match this was, but the match here didn't even save the show. So Ciampa ended up shoving Gunther during the introductions. Gunther ended up shaking it off, but he was upset at Ciampa. Gunther ended up posing with his Intercontinental Championship, and Gunther's chest had 2 handprints from the shove by Ciampa. So the match ended up beginning. Both Ciampa and Gunther circled the ring. Ciampa ended up quickly attacking Gunther, and he ended up punching Gunther into the corner. Gunther fought back, but Ciampa ended up grabbing Gunther's arm, ended up going to take him down. Gunther fought out, but Ciampa responded with some lariats against the ropes to Gunther. Gunther ended up quickly slamming Ciampa down and applied a Boston Crab. Gunther ended up stopping Ciampa from grabbing the bottom rope, and he stomped him. Gunther ended up getting Ciampa outside the ring and lifted him. Ciampa ended up sliding off and sent Gunther into the ring post. Ciampa followed up with a death press at ringside. Ciampa ended up getting Gunther in the ring. He ended up going for the Sicilian stretch, but Gunther grabbed the bottom rope. Gunther pulled himself out of the ring, and he collected himself at ringside, and Monday Night Raw went to commercial. Then when Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, Gunther was in control of the match. He applied an armbar to Ciampa. Gunther pulled Ciampa up, started wrenching Ciampa's arm. He ended up chopping Ciampa down. Ciampa soon fought back with some chops to Gunther, but Gunther cut Ciampa off and delivered a scoop slam. So Gunther started talking trash to Ciampa. He ended up clubbing Ciampa's back. Gunther ended up choking Ciampa on the bottom rope. So Ciampa ended up attempting to fight Gunther, but Gunther took him down with a sleeper hold. Gunther had Ciampa down on the mat. He was trying to put Ciampa out. And for some reason, at this point in the match, all you just saw was the crowd having their cell phones up with flashlights on. And they were waving them around. It's like the Fireflies were out. So what were they? They were honoring Bray Wyatt here? Or they were just bored and wanted to do something. So, not sure why we saw, the fans there doing this in the crowd during the match. So, we had Gunther end up dropping Ciampa with a big boot for a near fall. Gunther ended up going back to the sleeper hold on Ciampa, but Ciampa ended up getting a head of steam. He ended up driving Gunther into the turnbuckle. Ciampa then took Gunther down and applied once again the Sicilian stretch. Gunther ended up fighting it as he grabbed the bottom rope. Gunther ended up getting out of the ring. He pulled Ciampa along with him. Gunther viciously chopped Ciampa twice, and he ended up hitting a back suplex to Ciampa on the apron. So then Monday Night Raw went to commercial. Then when Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, we had both Gunther and Ciampa. They were exchanging chops to the chest. Gunther ended up slamming Ciampa on the top turnbuckle and stretched him out. Ciampa then fell to ringside. Gunther ended up leaning Ciampa against a barricade. He ended up chopping Ciampa's chest. Gunther ended up going for another chop, and Ciampa ended up moving. Gunther struck the commentary table, and he cracked the lid of the commentary table. So Ciampa ended up knocking Gunther off the apron, ended up hitting a flying running knee. Ciampa attacked Gunther's injured arm, and he slammed it off the commentary table a couple of times. Ciampa ended up going to get into the ring, but Gunther pulled Ciampa out, and he ended up chopping Ciampa with his left hand. So he still managed to drop Ciampa. So Gunther ended up getting Ciampa in the ring. Ciampa ended up grabbing him, getting in the ring, ended up pinning Willow's bell to Gunther. So Ciampa ended up going for the cover, and Gunther ended up kicking out. Ciampa then set up for the fairy tale ending, but Gunther ended up fighting out of it. Ciampa ended up kicking Gunther in his injured hand a few times, started stomping away at Gunther's skull. So Ciampa ended up pulling his knee pad down. He ended up going to charge at Gunther, but Gunther exploded out of the corner with a drop kick, which that was a great drop kick from Gunther there. So Gunther ended up going for the cover, and Ciampa kicked out. So later on, we had Gunther end up hitting a powerbomb to Ciampa. Gunther then ended up doing another powerbomb to Ciampa. Gunther then rolled Ciampa over and applied a sleeper hold. Ciampa then passed out and collapsed on the mat, which caused the ref to call for the bell. So there you go. Gunther ended up winning the match, retaining the Intercontinental Championship. So Gunther's long reign as the Intercontinental Champion continues. Post-match, Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci ran down to the ring and double-teamed on Tommaso Ciampa. Gunther walked off with the Intercontinental Championship around his waist, and he left Vinci and Kaiser to beat down still on Ciampa. And then all of a sudden, Johnny Gargano ended up coming out. Johnny Gargano made his return to Monday Night Raw. He made the save. Gargano ended up hitting a slingshot spear on Vinci, and he ended up delivering a super kick to Kaiser. He super kicked Kaiser out of the ring, and looks like DIY is going to be coming back, which is awesome. So it's good to see Gargano make his return. He's been out, for a while. But overall, good match between Gunther and Ciampa for the Intercontinental Championship. Obviously, Gunther was still going to retain the title, but the match didn't even save this awful show tonight. Overall, Monday Night Raw, awful show was, and as a go-home show, as always, WWE doesn't put any effort into their go-home shows to get you hyped for the PLE on Saturday. It did nothing to hype us up for FastLane. But anyways, that's it for the Monday Night Raw review. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed this review. Definitely give the video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe. Be sure to check out my previous video, which was my DVD, Blu-ray, and 4K update that I uploaded earlier today. And I will see you all Wednesday for AEW Dynamite.